Hey everybody, welcome to Sungran. This is my mate Barry over from Impact Game Station. Hey Barry, what's up?
Well, how's it going? What's the crack?
Yeah, I just learned that
What's
this
up?
is Irish vernacular. I'm learning. So,
Yeah,
hey, we just came over from Barry's channel. We were just talking about the Switch 2, what we like about it, what we thought about it. We've only had it a day. So if you guys want to see us just hanging out, being mates, and talking about the Switch 2, head over to Barry's channel. We'll put the link in the description. But also, Barry was teaching us Irish slang, if you happen to need it
yes.
for anything. So, look, I just want to hang out with you and just have fun and talk about the Switch 2 a bit. But also, we can approach this from a developer's perspective. I've developed and shipped games on the 3DS and Wii U and Switch commercially. I don't yet have a development kit for Switch 2, which means I'm in a position where I can talk about it and speculate it because I don't have a Switch 2 development kit. I don't know anything about it, which means I can speculate and we can talk about it and have fun. We could just, do whatever. But can just quickly, have you found any third-party peripherals for the Switch 2 so far that you have found actually useful that you intend to use with the console?
Yeah, so if some of you, of course, don't know me, I've showcased some like mouse peripherals for the Joy-Con controllers. So instead of having like this kind of weird kind of, you know, grip on your hand,
Like a crab grip.
yeah,
Yeah, crab grip.
crab, yeah. So this actually like gives you like that mouse feeling kind of. So for two of them. Uh,
Have we got any?
no, I haven't got anything there. Sorry.
Right.
Uh,
But
but yeah,
you've got a
mouse
couple
peripherals.
videos. That's great. So I
Yeah,
mean, if anyone watching is interested in seeing peripherals, Barry's actually covered a few, and he's gone into detail with them. So yeah, we will put links in the description if you want to see that. I don't have those peripherals, but Barry does. So do definitely check those out. Do you find that the crab, the mouse add-on? I mean,
crab mode.
yeah, I'm gonna call it the Pro Skates, basically. So you find that it does actually make a difference.
Yeah, I think with like hand positioning overall,
Right.
big time. Yeah.
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 And
Because
I know you've
if
done a
you think
video
about
on
it, because
the
yeah,
grip. Can you tell us
so
about the
like
big grip as well?
yeah, so the
Yeah.
big grip. So the grip I have is from a company called Mamba.
Okay.
So they have like sister companies called is it iBlassian, and Subcase. I don't
Mouthful.
know about the names, but just yeah, a mouthful, all right.
Yeah.
So like three different sister companies, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and they all kind of like sell like similar products. So they have like this protective carry case where like even if you drop it, it has like as they class it as like armor protective.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
it'll like absorb the drop and everything, the vibrations, etc. If you drop it, and you can. So in this big one that I have, you can insert the Switch console with your actual Switch grip from Mamba as well.
Okay.
So the one that I showcase has like a back door, we'll call it, that you can stick in two micro SD cards, express cards,
All
and
right.
5 game
Yeah.
cards into the back of it as well. Which also that this grip can also fit in the dock at the same time as well.
Whoa, that's impressive. That's pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
but the
Yeah.
back door you have to have out of the dock because it won't fit
Okay.
in
Okay.
otherwise.
Yeah.
But
I did read
yeah,
on the instructions. I read the instructions for the Switch 2. It said to remove if you have any sort of grip or case around the console to remove it before putting it into the dock. So I did read that, but you're
yeah,
saying this case takes that into account, so you don't have to remove the whole thing. That's pretty cool.
no.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I guess that's probably Nintendo's way of just backing themselves up,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, in writing and such. If you get me, but there are like third-party grips and cases that will fit into it.
Yeah,
No
that's
problem.
interesting. Really quickly,
Yeah,
you got the cameras. I didn't pick up the cameras, but I did try a generic Logitech USB camera with the Switch 2, and it worked fine. Can you show us what the cameras look like?
Yeah. So here we have the lovely 480 camera, if you can see it there.
That's
But
so
it's
cool
the
looking.
Piranha
Can
one.
you open the plant
Like,
mouth?
what's cool? Yeah, like that. And the camera you can, is in there, as you can
That's
see.
cool. I like that.
How's it? Hey, Jerrel. Yeah, so you can bend it.
Oh,
You know,
that's
it's
neat.
quite cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And watch this here now. You can take it out like that. So for handheld mode. The reason
Yeah,
why I bought it was because of this here for handheld mode.
yeah, that's cool.
So if I stick it in, there you
Very
go.
cool. Very cool. I like that.
Quite cool. Yeah. And the other one is, of course, the 1080p camera. If you rotate this here, there you go.
Right. That's
On
cool.
and then off.
And that's good
And,
privacy assurance. You know, you can't see through that.
yeah, well, maybe they can hear you, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, but yeah, they can't see you with that there.
Very
But
cool.
I have tried, like we did discuss, so like I have tried my 4K USB-C camera, and unfortunately, it does not work.
Right.
Maybe if I get some sort of different cable, perhaps for it, that might work with it. But otherwise, it doesn't work at all.
Right. It could, yeah, maybe it could just be that the Switch 2 wasn't designed for 4K cameras. It was only designed for up to 1080. I'm not really
Yeah.
a webcam scientist, as it were. So, yeah, I got
Yeah.
a message from you just a short while ago, and you said you tried my games on the Switch just to see how they run, because my games are all original, you know, for the original Switch. And you gave me a
So,
performance report, and what was that like?
so yeah, honestly, so the first game I actually had to try from your series of games was, of course, Falls Episode Prelude.
Yeah.
I actually did record was it last week? Uh, game gameplay of the game running on Switch One, as you're calling it, right? So,
I'm trying hard to
uh,
not say Switch 1. I'm trying to just say Switch.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I actually just tested in handheld mode the game,
Yeah.
Episode Prelude, on, of course, well, all three different settings. So you, like, as you know, you have balance, you have graphics, and you have performance settings.
Yeah.
So I tried it in every mode, right? So of course, well, visually, graphics looks the best, but they all perform the exact same.
That's
So of
crazy.
course, I'm going to choose the graphics setting,
Yeah.
and
That's
it is
crazy.
so smooth, Jarrell.
Ooh, awesome.
So
I'll have
it's
to try
absolutely
that.
beautiful, and I
Yeah.
just can't wait to record it in 4K.
Yeah, thanks for reporting back on that. As you know, because we've you know, been hanging out for years and years. I
Hmm.
don't like talking about my own games, and it's it's funny because when you develop your own games, you really should be talking about your games all the time. You should be trying to sell it to people. And I've worked in marketing and advertising for years, and I personally find it irritating having people try to sell things to you all the time. And coming from that sort of professional world, I find it very disingenuous when people are, because you can't trust people because their intention is to sell you something. And so that's part of the reason, but also I spend thousands of hours on my games, and once they're done and out, I just want to do something else. I want to think about something else and look at something else. And so people sometimes, well, I don't know, people actually often will say, "Hey, can you tell me about your games? I'd like to hear about them." And it's funny because I just realized I've gone months without talking about my games. But when I'm online, I just want to hang out with people, and I don't want to shove products in people's faces because I've done that in the past for work. And I know that it's not a genuine connection that you're having with people when you come from it from a marketing and advertising perspective. I'm here online. I just want to hang out with people. I don't want to put my products in their face. So I basically talk about them only when people ask about them. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what sort of performance I can get out of the Switch 2 now. Again, I don't have a development kit for the Switch 2. I don't have any development software for it, so I know nothing about it. But I do see now that original. Oh no, I said original. I have to make sure I say Switch. You know, that's the name of the console. Seeing that Switch games that previously had poor performance run great on Switch 2. Now, there's one that I want to bring up. I keep a number of my games in a luxury ball here. Is it in here, my Batman? Batman Arkham Knight
Uh, yeah.
runs so rough. Once you get into the Batmobile, and you're driving through the city, it's
City,
not
yeah.
it's not playable. It's a slideshow. You can't respond to anything in the environment, and it's impossible, and it's not fun at all. It's just have you played or tried playing Arkham Knight on the Switch?
No, I honestly I bought it for the Xbox
Right.
because
It works on the
it was on
Xbox, right?
sale.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, of course. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I seen Digital Foundry covered it,
Yeah. It's
and it's
impossible.
like,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
impossible to play it. And so that was one of the first games I ran. Of course, you have to download it. You have the cartridge, but it only has one of the games on the cartridge. You have to download the other two for the Switch.
yeah,
And I ran it on Switch 2, and it ran well. It didn't run the best. Moment to moment, the frame rate was good. There was still some hiccuping as you drive the Batmobile and you're speeding through the city at high speed. There is some minor hiccuping and stuttering when it has to load assets. Because the reason why a game like that stutters is because it loads a low quality version of buildings, cars, characters, foliage. When you're at a distance, it's a low quality version. As you get closer to those game objects, the game loads in higher quality stuff. But in order to do that, it's taxing on the console, and so that causes the frame rate drops. And it was significantly alleviated. The performance was improved so much. The game Arkham Knight is absolutely playable on Switch 2 now. So it's so cool to see that. And I just want to see other games. I want to see them that were made for the Switch that just didn't run well because the hardware is not that strong, and it's very difficult to have a team member with such specialized knowledge that can optimize a game to run well on the Switch. And even if you have all the experience and knowledge and tools in the world, there's a limit to what you can do with games on the Switch before the frame rate just chugs. And the Switch 2 has so much brute force. It's so cool to see.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Sorry, well, if you can answer this, right?
Yeah.
From a technical standpoint for your games, so, well, Episode Prelude is a perfect example. So, with that there, so you had like performance, balance and graphic, right?
Yeah.
In those settings, in programming, right? So, what was was there like an unlocked, frame rate, or what way does that work? Sorry.
So the only difference between those modes, so in Episode Prelude, you press the minus button and then it changes the quality of the game's visuals so that you don't have to go to a menu. If you happen to go through a part of the game where the performance isn't great, just reach up and press the minus button, put it in performance mode, and then you get smooth frame rates. The only thing that I'm doing there is changing the internal rendering resolution, but that includes everything like the heads-up display, as well as the game environments. So it just shows that it was really the resolution holding the Switch back, is that the GPU has a very difficult time processing all those pixels. If there's things like particle effects, things like depth of field where the background blurs out a little bit, volumetric lighting, the more pixels you have on screen, the higher your resolution is for your game, then the much, much more difficult it becomes to render. And so for performance mode, I have it rendering it absurdly low. I thought I rendered it at about 520, but that was for the screen, and I think in a handheld mode, it actually drops it down closer to 400, I think. No, I think it even gets to like 390 or 400 or something. It's something very low to keep performance going, but that's all I did was reduce the internal rendering resolution for the game in order to make the performance better.
Yeah, like as we discussed, it just it plays lovely on Switch too.
Yeah, great.
No complaints at all.
And that's Episode Prelude.
Tried.
Yeah, it's frustrating for me. For me, there's negative feelings attached to that because the version of Unity, the only version that was available, and I had to use that version, was very broken. It was so broken, and it was miserable because I had just come from years of developing on the 3DS with Unity, and that was broken. It was so absurdly broken, the whole development environment. And so I didn't get to spend a lot of time actually making games. I had to engineer solutions to trick the engine into working. And I moved from the 3DS to the Switch, and I thought, great, I'll have a better version of Unity for the 3DS. It was also super broken. So it was very disheartening for me. So there are a lot of things that I wanted to be much better in Episode Prelude, but I had to waste so much time because the engine was broken. And unfortunately, the previous CEO of Unity put in a lot of policies that ruined a lot of things, and I can't discuss too many things because of NDA, but now it's extremely difficult for me now, because if I want to update Episode Prelude, I have to use the newest versions of Unity, and it would make the game worse, because the new versions of Unity that I'm being forced to use have broken all of the stuff in my games in Episode Prelude. It's broken the volumetric lighting, the hair systems, physics simulation, water. It's broken so many things. So if I want to update my Episode Prelude game, it would probably take months of development and engineering new solutions for all those things that already existed. And it's frustrating. So eventually, you know, I'll have to get around to doing that, because I am working on other games that use the same framework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess couldn't people in theory, well, who have a Switch 1 dev kit, like making a game, that like a frame rate limit, perhaps on the Switch 1, but if it plays in Switch 2, it somehow gets, you know, improves that way somehow. Is that
I don't
possible?
know. I don't
Like
know.
with your game? Yeah.
I don't know, and
Yeah.
even if I did know, I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay.
I wouldn't be
I'm just
allowed.
saying, like it's like an easy way of, you know, getting access, well, to get your games, you know, running on Switch 2 and higher. But
well, there's no reason why you would want a frame rate limit on the Switch, because there's already a hard limit anyway in terms of the hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You want it running as well as possible, so setting a limit doesn't really actually help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
is there anything you want to ask in terms of what development for Switch 2 that you think I might be able to answer?
Well, you see, well, I guess, well, I can't say this. I'm technically a Switch developer as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I have dev kit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but from what I can see, well, last time I checked, there was no news at all about Switch 2 dev kits. But I don't think I'm in a position right now to buy a Switch 2 dev kit if I wanted to.
Right, yeah.
I guess financially. But, well, like I bought a Switch 2, so I'm happy with that right now, you know?
Yeah.
But like I can test, you know, NSP files for anyone who wanted to, you know, Switch, you know, testing.
Yeah, so you can serve as a
Whatever.
remote tester, which is quite useful, because there's a lot of independent developers out there that need more testers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so like one of the games I actually did test was Forgotten Memories on the Switch.
All right.
So yeah, before it came out. So getting the builds, you know, just like typical, getting your build, report, you know, record content, whatever, report, you know, bugs and X, Y, and Z, and report it back to them, and then they can fix them. But I found like that game runs better on Switch 2 overall,
Of course.
than on the Switch 1.
Yeah.
You know, because of whatever, you know, Switch 2 hardware. It's amazing what I can do. But oh yeah, so actually, remember I wanted to talk to you about something today.
Fire away.
About the
Fire away.
Switch 2. Yeah. So the whole game share idea, right? So
That's a
I
hot
have
topic.
a theory. Yeah, I feel that you could get the Wii U experience using game share. The reason being, okay, so games like is a 52 all-time classics, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So that has game share, but you're sharing a different screen on it.
You are sharing a different screen.
Which is essentially the exact same thing as a Wii U.
So you're saying that
Think about it.
player 1 has their screen and player 2 can see something else through game share? They have a different screen?
Yes.
So it is not cloning. It's not just cloning player 1's screen for player 2. Player 2 sees something different. I didn't know that.
So,
Oh boy.
So, Okay, so for Captain Toad, right? So if I'm correct in saying, you have your own screen as Captain Toad, and then you have Toadette as well on the second switch on the second screen. So
Oh
what
boy.
I'm visiting right now is getting a grip that fits in a second. Here. Actually, hold on. No, you wouldn't have to because the Switch One, in theory,
You can use the
could
Switch.
work
Yeah,
with
you
Switch.
can
Yeah,
use Switch. I am on cloud nine right now. I don't know if you can tell. I didn't know.
yeah. So that's I wanted to keep this for today. Well, tonight as we're speaking, because you, in theory, could do Wide and Sided Umbra, for example, or Undertaker's
I
two screens,
Oh yeah. I
or
I'm on
or
cloud nine.
you
I'm
could.
over the moon right now, man. Oh baby, this is big news. That's my number one requested feature, and I've done a number of videos discussing this topic and talking about it. So I have a professional working relationship with Nintendo, and
Yeah.
um, I know the people there are just good people that want to make something cool, you know. Um,
Something
they
different.
yeah
No.
they do see my YouTube channel. They do see my discussions online, and I I wonder if they saw my videos discussing and saying, look, it would be great to have a second screen or off screen play. I wonder if they saw that and thought, hey, that's something cool, because that opens up so much opportunity for creativity. I would really like to see developers use that for asymmetrical gameplay. Oh man, I am over the moon right now. You do not know how this news has made me so very pleased. I'm on cloud nine right now.
Now think of it, right? So you have not one but two options of gameplay. You'll see why in a sec. With Switch and Nintendo Switch, that's all I say, right?
Mhm.
You have the IR sensor, for example, if you want to use that for a second screen experience.
Yeah.
But with Switch 2, you have, well, it's not really much different there, but like there's no IR sensor camera, at the bottom of the Joy-Con on the right-hand side. But you do have, well, overall, better haptics, etc.
Yeah.
But, well, Switch 2, you have the camera, just like
That's
a Wii
true.
U gamepad,
Yeah. That's true.
attachment.
I'm so
So,
pleased. I'm so very pleased. What a delight.
so
This is the best news that I could have
I will
heard
record,
regarding the Switch 2.
yeah, I will record Captain Toad gameplay
Thank you.
for you.
So what is
Yeah.
it? The 52 disappointing backyard sports games? Is that what it's called?
52 all-time classics, whatever it's called.
So I'll tell you
You have,
something.
so you, yeah,
What's
go
that?
on.
What's that?
No, you have a Switch 1, right?
We're not calling it the Switch 1, Barry.
I know. I'm winding you up. So, what do you have? Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
No, I do not.
Okay. Actually, I don't know what to say to you. Sorry. Go buy it then. Experience for yourself, hands on.
Yeah. So just briefly,
What was you going to ask? Sorry. Yeah.
just briefly, one of the I work on a lot of games, and most of which I don't talk about at all. One of the games that I'm working on in the background in terms of the planning and conception stage is called 15 Disappointing Backyard Sports, and it's like it's a party game. Obviously 4 players, and it's just disappointing sports like go get Uncle a beer, and it's walk to the cooler. It's like a Mario Party, but walk to the cooler and get Uncle a beer, and that's one of the backyard games. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Make sure you
it's
add
just
those time trials in it as well.
exactly. Yeah. You gotta beat the high score. There'll be a meta
Yeah.
for it. It'll be competitive. So at some point, I'll suddenly drop it. Without talking about it much. Someday you'll see 15 disappointing backyard sports.
When it works for me, I'll get it.
So this is great. I might want to check out that 52 board games. What's it called?
If it's 52 all-time classics.
Okay.
Sorry, let me look it up if I can. But
That's
is it
fantastic. Wow.
52 all-time?
I am pleased. I am pleased as punch. This is the bee's knees, is what this is. What a delight.
Sorry, I'm sorry if I'm probably getting the name wrong here completely.
No.
But,
We'll get it. We'll get it right. We'll look it up. So I'm very interested in using the camera for Switch 2.
yeah.
I want games where people go out and about.
Oh, sorry, 51 worldwide classics. I
Oh,
was close
51,
enough.
52, 51. It's the difference between your game running and your game crashing.
Yeah.
So I really want to use the camera. I want people out and about taking pictures of things. I've one game that I worked on many years ago and then shelved was a game that used this interpretation system that takes into account the brightness and the colors of your scene, and then it generated monsters that joined your party based on the colors, and their stats would be a bit different based on the brightness and the placement of the colors in the scene. And I wasn't a very good enough developer back then to really make use of that system and implement it in a way that would be satisfying. But these days, that's different. I put in a lot of effort to keep improving as a developer, and now I have to hunt through my hard drives to try and find that system that I built, the color interpretation system. And if not, I could just recode it in a couple hours. But I'd kind of like to just find it to save myself a couple hours. But I want people going out and about with their Piranha Plant webcam outside in the world, taking pictures of things and then generating new characters that way. Something like that. But I don't know how much of the camera we can incorporate into gameplay. I don't know. So we'll see. Because so far we've only seen the camera being used for for players' faces and things. That's all that we've been shown. So I don't know even if that concept that I've described would be feasible.
Well, actually, in theory, so if you think about it, right, this is gonna make you smile. I bet it will. So on 3DS, remember you had the AR games, augmented reality.
Yes.
So Mario Party is essentially the exact same thing, in the fact where like you're actually physically jumping, and it'll do something.
Cool. Is that so? So you jump.
Yeah, but
it sees you jump.
Yeah, yeah. So you're like, it's is it the new Jamboree, whatever it's called?
Is
yeah.
that
So
so?
Mario Party Jamboree. So in theory, it is AR, in a way. So imagine.
So it has body
Silver
tracking.
Falls AR.
It has body tracking.
I think so.
It must.
Yeah, I feel like it has. It must have.
There must be some degree of body tracking built into the Switch 2 for the cameras, which is so delightful. And again, I don't know anything about that. I do not have any information about the Switch 2 development environment, so this is me guessing, and I'm guessing that there may be body tracking, which would be the coolest.
Yeah, there is body tracking.
Oh boy!
The game I'm looking at right now is where they're balancing Goombas on their head, so like you're doing that with it.
Whoa, Nelly! I like the sound of that. I'm not approaching this as a gamer. I don't care. Yeah. As a developer. Whoa,
yeah,
Nelly! I am glad to hear that feature's there. I will be using that. I'll be making a lot of features in games to take advantage of that. That sounds great to me.
Just to expand on your photography idea, right?
Yeah.
Imagine like a 4K, Silver Falls photography game, just like taking pictures of birds or like nature, whatever. Like imagine being in the Silver Falls world.
Yeah.
I am expecting VR for the Switch 2. Definitely.
That is.
Just imagine the possibilities, and like the little camera would be like your detection, like whatever it's called. Sorry, like your camera detection.
And it can detect up to 4 people, so it has body tracking for 4 people.
Well, actually 4 people. I don't know, but see, it's one per person that I've seen.
Oh,
okay.
Because
all the videos I've only ever showcased one that I can see.
Because I thought we saw trailers where there were 4 people in one room and it was detecting all of them. I thought
Okay,
we saw that, but
I'll
it may
check
have
it
been
actually, yeah.
unclear. The trailer may have been
Yeah.
unclear, so that's something that Nintendo probably could have made more clear for people. But that's cool.
But yeah,
Oh
I can see you so
man,
happy.
we're gonna get very cool games. I really hope developers make use of this technology. This is so cool. What a
Yeah.
delight. I am ecstatic. I am just over the moon. This is really wonderful. Great news. I'm going to check out the 51, and it'll be on the eShop.
Yeah,
I
I'll
didn't
send.
know
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah.
What is it?
Have you,
Uh,
so you haven't tried the Welcome Tour with the HD Rumble 2?
No, I
It's
haven't bought the game.
It's impressive. If you thought HD
I hear.
Rumble was good, there's a Maraca demo straight off the bat, and you can feel the beads rolling around, but then there's a button you press and it replaces the beads with a rubber ball. And it
Yeah.
feels like there's friction in there. It's very convincing. Obviously, I haven't used HD Rumble 2 as a developer, so I don't know how they're doing it. I'm hoping that it's easy to work with. I'm hoping that you don't have to put on fingerless hacker gloves and dark shades in order to program for the HD Rumble 2, because that is a very cool feature, and I would really like to use games. I'd really like to create games where you have the control like this, and say, for example, you're controlling a giant mecha, and there's enemies flying at you, and you use just motion controls to fight against the enemy mecha and shoot them down. Something like that. I'd really love to make games like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, but that's basically I think the camera is going to be a sleeper feature that people are not going to understand what it's fully capable of until a year or two in, when games come out that fully take advantage of the strengths of that. But I think we're going to see some very interesting things as long as developers put in the effort and time to come up with a creative implementation and do it in a way that isn't clumsy, that isn't Connectimals or something odd, you know?
Yeah. Like, I don't know from a technical, well, a developer, point of view, but I would have loved to see developers use the right Joy-Con. Like, remember, it was used for like for heartbeat, and
Yeah.
for Ring Fit Adventure. Imagine using that there for well, lie detection and stuff.
Yeah.
In games. Like, that would have been so cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that'd be cool to implement that in horror games, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Big time. Yeah.
Yeah. What I want to see and what I want to do is make games that use the mouse mode, but use HD Rumble so you can feel the texture that you're moving over. So you can feel if it's like a sandy surface or a rocky surface or something grassy, and you can feel grass as you move that around. The HD Rumble 2 felt really cool in the Maraca demo, but I would like to see it used for that, where you feel the surfaces that you're moving the mouse over. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, be really cool. And even okay, like with the camera, like imagine you were like going like skiing or something.
Oh yeah.
Like you actually
Yep.
like feel the snow, in your hands and stuff. Just
Oh yeah,
feeling
yeah.
that.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Absolutely. You can feel it as you're going over like the scary smooth parts where you sort of lose control because the surface of the ice is really smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, and like even like having to jump with the camera, and it'll
Oh, yeah.
jump in the part of the game.
Yeah.
And then even like when you land back down, you'll feel that kind of whatever shock in your
Yeah.
hands with the Joy-Cons.
Oh man, there's so many opportunities that the game sharing and the camera actually change a lot of things for me. I've told you before about my Wii U game where
Yeah.
you have a team of 4 or 5 people and you all pilot a giant mecha together. I've told you about that one.
Yeah.
And that was something that could have been done on the Wii U, and it would have used the gamepad quite a fair bit. But this is a situation I would be able to use the game share feature the game chat even in the camera, but you would be able to have 5 people all working together to pilot one giant mech. You know, each player pilots one part. So let's see, oh, I'm controlling the arm here, and you have to talk to each other and communicate. And this is something that wasn't feasible on the Switch because there's really no way to guarantee that people could communicate. But on Switch 2, people can have the camera, you can see their face and their part of the mech that you're piloting, and you would be able to talk and communicate because the whole point is there's an engineer, and the engineer routes power to different parts of the mech. So you need the engineer with the touchscreen to say, okay, whoever's piloting the right arm might have a sword, and they'll say, I need power, I'll do a big hit. So you divert that, but it makes the other parts of the mech weaker because you're routing power to one part. I think that's an idea that might be able to work on Switch 2 as opposed to any other console.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
But I think there's potential for like first-person horror games with the Switch 2.
Oh yeah.
Like what you can do with everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like you can do some good stuff with it.
Switch 2 Lite. When do you think that will happen?
Maybe in the next couple of years.
Do you think 2 years? Do you think 1 year?
2 years, just so people buy the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And then maybe in 4 years' time, so 2 years after the Switch Lite, we'll get like a Switch 2 OLED at some point.
Yeah.
Like with a bigger screen.
I wonder what
the
their
screen
plan
is
will
big
be.
enough.
Yeah. I really like the screen size here. There's still people that are saying that the price of the consoles just makes it too difficult for them, and I think a Switch 2 Lite, man, if you could shave $100 off that somehow, not have the dock, a smaller screen. At this point, maybe they will have optimized production so they can do things at a lower cost. If they could shave $100, or even $75 off and get a Switch 2 Lite so that more people can get in on the ecosystem. I think the more people they have playing the Switch 2, the better. If they do a Switch 2 Lite, I won't buy one because I already have a Switch 2 and I don't have a need for a Switch 2. Yeah, but I think it would be so great for there to be another entry point to the Switch 2 ecosystem at a lower price point. I think it would be just great to have that option. And of course, you'll have collectors that will want it just to have it,
Yeah, of course, definitely. There's always collectors that will buy every Switch.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of it, and keep them boxed.
Yeah.
Or they'll transfer each Switch over to the next one, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I think with the Switch 2 Lite, if it does come out in the next 2 years, I think the Joy-Cons, like the Switch, original Switch, it'll be all built into the system itself.
Yeah.
So the Switch 2 Joy-Cons won't be detachable.
Yeah.
It'll all be built in.
Yeah. And they'll be much cheaper because of that. That's why the Switch Lite was cheaper. And I'd like to see that. I would really like to see a lower price point, an entry point for that. It would be so cool. Have you tried syncing up the Joy-Cons to the Switch 2? Not the Joy-Con 2. We're using the correct terms here, right? So the Joy-Con 2, obviously. But have you tried connecting the Joy-Con to the Switch 2?
No, not yet.
I'm going to try. When we wrap up here, I'm going to try that and see if it works out.
Do you plan on actually buying more Switch 2 Joy-Cons?
I don't want to. I super don't want to. I don't think I ever will because these are very expensive. Eventually, one day I will get a development kit and they will come with Joy-Con 2.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But I feel there is no need, right now, for extra Joy-Cons because Switch 1 Joy-Cons, will work fine.
Yeah.
On it. I have 6 in total. That's including, from the dev kit.
Yeah.
That you get with it, of course. So, I have, pro controllers in the house anyway. Third party and official. So, there's no need for anything else really, controller wise. Oh.
But the HD Rumble too.
More expense.
Don't you want the HD
Yeah,
Rumble too?
I
It
have
feels
it.
cool. It feels really cool. It's a shame that the Welcome Tour was not included. I feel like that was not a good move to make, in that everyone would have benefited from Welcome Tour being included. People would have had a much better experience starting up the console. They would have had something to play immediately. I personally have a bad taste in my mouth from having to purchase something that feels like an interactive instruction manual. And let's be honest here, the games in Welcome Tour are very basic. These are not games like, say for example, on the Wii U, you got Nintendo Land. That feels like a game. It is an instruction manual. It is a bunch of games, great value for money, and it shows you what the Wii U could do. Welcome Tour feels like an instruction manual. I've played a couple of the little games on it. They're more tech demos, and I don't feel great having to pay for something that's that small. And I hate being negative. I don't want to be negative. I think people would have had a much better experience starting the console out with that included.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Reggie was, all up,
Yeah.
for, free game. Like Wii, like he pushed for Wii Sports for the Wii for a long time.
Yeah.
From what we saw, like introduced recent enough.
Yeah.
And he pushed for it, and thankfully he got his way, and it was the best move for Nintendo. It's
Yeah.
one of the biggest selling games of all time because of it.
Yeah. And this would not, there's in no way would this have had the same effect. Years from now, no one's going to say, oh, remember Welcome Tour? No one's going to say that. This is not a game experience. It's an instruction manual that has some quizzes. It tells you information about how the Switch 2 is different, but it feels very clinical. It doesn't have this big, bombastic, fun personality in the way that Nintendo Land has for the Wii U. You know how the 3DS came with a bunch of games. Even if you didn't buy any games, it came with stuff that you could play. Face Raiders, for example. And so far as I understand, the Switch 2 did not have anything like that. And I feel like that's a massively missed opportunity for Nintendo to not have done that, because I do recommend you try Welcome Tour. And it's, 10 US, so it's not a huge deal, but it feels like, as a consumer, it feels like I'm being nickel and dimed, and so that's left a bad taste in my mouth. And to be honest, it does not feel like it's worth the money. I feel like I got ripped off a little bit, because it's an instruction manual. And I hate being negative. I'm not trying to naysay, but it's important to point these things out, because there's a lot of people that feel this way, and their feelings are justified that, oh, what? Come on, why wasn't this included? It's called Welcome Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose like people want to, like to experience, like, oh, how does this work, etc. for free, like without having to pay for it.
Yeah.
But it's, what is it, €7.99, €8?
Right.
Oh, not too bad. But I mean, like, even if it was like, just say like €5, maybe would have bought it.
Yeah.
But like the fact that I have to pay like nearly €10 for it.
Yeah. I really feel that the Switch 2 needed a very strong pack-in title that didn't necessarily need to be big. Just something small for people to play, something that has the energy of Mario Kart World. I don't feel bad about the price tag of Mario Kart World, having played it. I didn't like the price tag at first for Mario Kart World, but after playing it for a couple of minutes, I felt, oh, I get it. This is a massive game. There's going to be huge value for money here. So I enjoyed it that much, and I'm so shocked that I feel so positively about it. But I really, really like Mario Kart World. I've only got to play it a little bit, and I'm looking forward to exploring more, but I need to invite friends over so we can all play it properly. So, but the Switch 2 really needed something with that energy level, and something small, just a couple of party games that are packed in with the Switch 2. Because right now I'm looking at the Switch 2, I don't have a lot of time, and I'm looking at the games, and the games they're trying to offer these big experiences. And I think I don't have time for Mario Kart right now. I don't have time for these big experiences. I absolutely don't have time for Cyberpunk or Yakuza. And then at the far, far other end of the spectrum is Welcome Tour. And I think, well, it's not really a fun game, is it? And it's very sterile. There really should have been something, a middle point there, I think. Do you feel like
It's
that a
not very
bit? Or?
welcoming.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. How do you feel on
Yeah.
that topic?
Yeah, like I feel Nintendo, right, with this here, with the launch of Switch 2. Okay, so like in regards to like, brand new titles, there wasn't much there from Nintendo side at all.
That's right.
I feel like Nintendo relied heavily, well, from well, on third party games.
Yeah.
But I feel like they needed like to showcase a lot of the Switch 2 like updates for pre-existing games on the for like Switch, for Switch, original Switch.
Yeah.
So like Zelda update, uh, you have Mario Odyssey update, Captain Toad,
Yeah.
Arms, etc. But I will say, right, so one of the best deals you can buy right now for Switch 2, for your money, is No Man's Sky.
Oh, I
That game
saw
is on
that.
sale
I saw that.
for €20 on the eShop. It's always on sale, and you get a free upgrade on Switch 2.
Right. I was
That
about
is
to
how
buy
you
it.
treat your fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a good point. You're showing your respect to the people who are supporting you. You're giving more people an opportunity to join. I was about to buy it until I realized I'm not ever going to be able to play it
yeah,
because I'm so starved for time. So this realization just came to me as we're discussing this topic. What would have been basically the perfect pack-in Nintendo World? A little game, pack-in
yeah.
game called Nintendo World. We had Nintendo Land. Have Nintendo World and have a bunch of different exhibits. You can use a similar format to Nintendo Land, a bunch of fun little mini games that use familiar faces the way that Nintendo Land did. But the current management for Nintendo, at least Nintendo of America, they're very focused on the bottom dollar, and I'm not being critical. I'm not criticizing the approach there. We have to be realistic. This is a business, and businesses have to make money.
Business, yeah.
Yeah. And so the balance here would be pack in Nintendo World, have 4 exhibits in there that you can play mini games that are all 4 players, something very fun, and then have other exhibits that you can pick up as DLC. You can buy up to 4 other exhibits, so you have a pack-in title that still has a path to monetization, something bombastic that features the IP of Nintendo. That would have been the absolute perfect pack-in title. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it sounds cool, and like it sounds something like that I'd play. Like you have just say that 4 different worlds. You have Mario, you have Donkey Kong, you have Splatoon, and even like Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
big worlds.
yeah. You're right. That's a great
That you
point.
could,
And you can put a spin on those. You take the format of how you expect to play those games, put a spin on it, make it 4 players, have some competitive aspect to it. That my disappointment is real thinking about this, that should have been a pack-in title, and that would have made this console feel so powerful, not in terms of hardware, but as a brand, to say, what this is, these Nintendo characters, here, enjoy it, invite people over to enjoy it so they can see, oh wow, the Switch 2 is great, the Switch 2 is cool, because there isn't anything like that comes with the system, and the games they're a little pricey.
I have 2 things in my head that just came now that would make the Switch 2 extra special just
Yeah.
for you, Jerrel.
Yeah.
Thing is, bring your Switch 2 to Nintendo World with the camera, and you can unlock exclusive, themes or content, whatever.
Oh yeah.
A way of bringing your Switch 2 with the camera so you can scan a QR code. That's the only way to do it is by switch to console.
Wow, that is brilliant. So you go to Nintendo World and they have QR codes that you scan in, and it unlocks exclusive themes for you.
Yeah, so something Switch 2 related,
cool.
like like content,
Yeah,
but they're only redeemable through your
yeah.
Switch 2 system, no other device. And
That's
the second game,
that's very cool.
is
Yeah.
bringing back Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival on the Switch 2. I wouldn't
Why
be
not?
surprised,
Why not? I want to see Amiibo be used for something
especially with the camera.
other than oh look, you scanned it and you get a reward. I want to see Amiibo be used. I have pitched to Nintendo before using Amiibo to create a game, but at that point I had not developed a relationship working with them, and so I wasn't able to get any approval on anything. But I have a working relationship with Nintendo. I've shipped a number of titles with them, and I have been working on other pitches for games that would use Amiibo extensively, and it would not be for unlocking content. You would have your character save data on the figure itself, and the figure itself would influence the character, your abilities, your weapons, and your gameplay. Your movesets would be based on the amiibo that you're using. And I am hoping to put together a pitch and then pitch that to Nintendo pretty soon. But once I do, then I won't be able to talk about it because it'll be NDA locked. So,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
you know. But I'm. How do you feel about how amiibo are used? They're sort of basically a daily meal ticket for some in-game resource.
Yeah, I feel like Amiibo, well, for me, well, at some point just became like collectible figures to have.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the best collection that I have of actual like physical, character amiibo figures is the Animal Crossing collection.
They're cool.
It's absolutely
They're
beautiful.
fun little figures. They're neat.
Yeah, but
But what
I
they don't
think the
really do
best,
anything in the games, do they?
uh, it's more so like for like Amiibo Festival, their Amiibo Festival.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
and like you can use cards as well to with the NFC
Oh yeah,
built
that's
into them.
right. Good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
yeah, for characters in the game. But I feel right, the best Toys to Life game that I played is hands down Starlink on the Switch.
Oh right. I haven't played that. A mate of mine really enjoys that.
Yeah, I bought every character. You know what? I'll tell you this right. I bought 4 Star Fox ships to have all the 4 ships
Yeah,
displayed in my room in Ireland at the
that's
time.
cool. That's cool.
I actually got my friend in America to well, I bought the plastic stands that you can
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah. I
exclusively
saw
in
those.
America
Yeah.
and got them imported in.
Nice. Nice.
Just stuff like that there, I have every figure, every, weapon, etc. in the game.
Yeah. And that's cool technology. I would like to see that come back. Disney and Lego absolutely ruined that for everyone. They cannibalized the market and produced below standard products, and it ruined it for everyone. So 2016 was a rough
Too
year.
many of them.
That was a rough year.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
how sad is this when you see themes? You see themes, and all you see
black and
is
white.
black and white. How sad do you feel about that? Look at all the space. Look at all the space there that they could have. Your guess, do you think they're going to add a theme shop and then populate that? Because the 3DS, remember, the 3DS didn't get the theme shop until
Amazing.
way later on, right?
Yeah.
It was years
So,
later.
When you bought the 3DS, you had like, what was it, 4 or 5 different themes. You had,
Colors.
like black,
Yeah.
red, different, orange, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
A few colors that you had. So, like, imagine going to Nintendo World, unlock, exclusive, like, have this as a
Yeah.
timed exclusive, like, this month, whatever, themes.
That's a
Come
great
to the park
idea.
and you'll unlock different themes.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Yeah, these are right now I'm glad with the system. There's so many things that I would like to see, like the themes. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Just add the themes.
It was like
Come
cyberpunk
on.
themes.
Yeah,
You have
anything.
different, yeah.
I've seen people online say
Next-
who cares? It's just the background anyway, and it's like it's not functional. That's not the point. It's just cool. It's just cool.
Just the option to have it.
Yeah. And the point is that
Custom themes.
every single other platform has had it for basically more than a decade now. Yeah, way more than a decade, you know? You're I don't remember, did PS3 have custom themes?
PS3 had it. Yeah, like you could use it like a custom background.
See,
Yeah.
what are we
JPEG
doing here,
or
man?
PNG, yeah.
What are we doing here even?
I know.
Hey, we should probably wrap.
It's a crazy world we live
Yeah, we should wrap things up. Do you have anything else you want to discuss before we wrap up?
in. Okay. Let's see. Anything here?
What have you got?
So I can see No Man's Sky, 60% off, €19.99.
I want to grab that, but I'm not going to have time.
You know what you should do, right? You look for a cheap physical copy of the game on Switch 1.
Oh, and buy the upgrade, huh?
So the upgrade is a free upgrade anyway. Yeah,
Oh.
like it's how you currently get the Switch 2 upgrade.
I see. That's a
It's
good
by
idea.
Having it.
That's a good idea. I'm going to do that with as many games as I can, is just buy the Switch 1 version and then pay for the upgrade, because I want to compare the games running on Switch and Switch 2.
Yeah. You see, I feel like, me that had PS4 and PS5,
Yeah.
I didn't want to make that into a habit of having to do for every game.
Yeah.
'Cause it just gets tiring after.
Right, right.
I think at the start of a new system, yeah, it's fine to do it, but I think eventually,
Oh,
like, you're gonna get tired of doing it, you know.
you get burnout from that, I see. Yeah, eventually.
Exactly. Just
yeah,
record Switch 2. Yeah,
I can
that's it.
see that. I can see what you mean. I can understand that. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll see how long it lasts for me before I get sick of it and then just buy the Switch 2 version.
Yeah. You see, from now on, right, I'm going to, like, any Switch game will be recorded on Switch 2 in 4K. That's how I'm going to do things.
Yeah. And you should. You know, you can show the best version. You should put the best foot forward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How I roll.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to catch up. It's been such a long time since we've got to chat and hang out. So thanks so much for coming to hang out. And again, thank you all for watching and hanging out with us here. And if you want to check out Barry's videos, we'll put his link in the description. And he's got some really useful stuff there related to the Switch too.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, just to plug in today. So I did an evolution video of Fast, that came out on the Switch 2,
Oh,
Fast
right.
Fusion. So I recorded
I saw that.
everything. So the 4 games from Wii, Wii U, Switch, and Switch 2.
Right.
All 4 side to side.
Whoa,
It
that's
just looks
cool.
incredible.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to hang out with me and Barry more, we also have another video in this same format where we discuss and talk a bit more. All right. Thanks, Barry. Take care. We'll talk again soon. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Easy.